Hi, parents and guardians. My name is Sarah Deviney, and I will be teaching your student American Literature this year. So American Literature is our sophomore year English class. It's a little different than our freshman year English class, which is a survey course in which we have students read a historical play, we have them read a modern day play, a futuristic novel, and a historical piece of nonfiction. So we give them exposure to all different types of literature. In American literature, the focus is on writing that's written by and about Americans that documents the American experience from the beginning of our country all the way through modern day. I want to tell you just a little bit more about the course and some of the curriculum that we'll cover. So much like English 9, American literature focuses on students' ability to write academically. So formal academic writing continues to be a focus as it does in freshman year. We also ask them to do critical thinking and literary analysis to be able to understand increasingly difficult texts and to be able to determine an author's message in a text and do something with that message. We also add the additional component of presentation and speech. So within this class, we'll ask students to do discussions. Often at the end of the year, we ask students to do a speech so they can practice oral presentation skills and work on that part of communication as well. We'll be thinking, discussing, and it'll be a great class. If you need to get a hold of me, you can see my email on the screen in front of you here. Feel free to reach out at any time. I know many of you are also already observers on the Canvas course as well. So in American literature, here are a few highlights. Here are the few of the things that we read. The first novel that we read is called The Absolutely True Diary of a Part-Time Indian, which I know is a mouthful, but it's a novel, young adult novel, set in modern day Washington State, and it focuses on Junior, who is part of the Spokane tribe. And he decides to leave the school on his reservation where his tribe lives, and he decides to go to a school 22 miles away called Reardon High School. And he feels a bit like a fish out of water. It's about his year navigating this new school experience and kind of imagining a different life for himself than the life that he leads on the reservation. It's awesome, and students generally really love this book. Another one of the novels that we read is The Great Gatsby. The Great Gatsby is one of the classic American novels set in the 1920s, so we get to experience all that the 1920s has to offer, symbolized in the character of Jay Gatsby. This is one that students generally really like as well, and we use the 2013 Leonardo DiCaprio film as a companion piece for this novel. We also read The Crucible, which is by Arthur Miller. You can see the image of that book or that play title here. This is a play written about the Salem witch trials, so it's a fun one to read in class. Generally, students choose parts. We kind of set up the classroom like a courtroom, and we experience what these witch trials would have been like. You see a picture of Ernest Hemingway here, another prolific American author. We do a short story unit with Ernest Hemingway. The yellow wallpaper is representative of another short story unit that we do later in the year, getting some exposure to Victorian literature. The image of Claude McKay reflects our unit on the Harlem Renaissance. The Harlem Renaissance was a period in Harlem, New York, in the 1910s, 20s, and 30s of Black art and Black culture and a celebration of Black culture. So we'll look at poetry, we'll look at short stories, we'll even look at artwork during that unit. And Emerson is the author of Self-Reliance. Ralph Waldo Emerson is his name. We also read Henry David Thoreau. These two essayists and scholars are the Transcendentalists. Transcendentalism is a really tough unit. These are texts from the 1800s that are very dense and very philosophical, but I try to help students make some connections to modern day life as we read through them. So the texts that we read in here are great. I will often ask students to read their own independent novels as well, as we continue to work on critical thinking and literary analysis. Likely the way that we grade in here will not be a surprise to you. Like many other classes at Grafton High School, 30% of a student's grade will be daily work. and 70% of a student's grade will be summative assessments. So major projects, major essays. In this class, we also spend a lot of time on-demand writing, so helping students with timed writing that will be asked of them as they do perhaps an AP class someday, or even on the ACT, which asks them to do some timed writing as well. For this class, everything will be available on Canvas, and I'd like to show you what that looks like. So this is our Canvas page. If students ever need to be virtual for any reason, they can find the link to our class that they can live stream. They also have access to the course syllabus. I have online versions of our texts and things of that nature up here. But most importantly, I wanted to point out that I'll always put a daily agenda up on Canvas so students know exactly what we will be doing that day in class. And I make all of my assignments available in Canvas as well. So if they ever miss something, they can track back to Canvas to find it, and they'll likely be submitting that assignment on Canvas too. As a matter of fact, some of your students may have mentioned that our first writing assignment is going to be due in the next couple days. This writing assignment is called the American Snapshot, and it asks students to write about one part of American life that they've experienced as American teenagers so far. So I'm getting a sense of their writing skills right off the bat. That is our course. Like I said at the beginning, I'm really excited to work with your student. I'm here if you need anything from me. Skyward is where I'll post grades, but be patient because I often have to grade student work here in Canvas, and then I transfer that grade over to Skyward. But certainly if there's anything I need or you need from me or that I can help with, please feel free to reach out. And I hope it's just an awesome year of American literature together. Thanks so much.